Have you ever had that moment when you thought, if I just had a bit more, I'd finally be happy? A better job, a nicer house, more money, more power. It sounds reasonable until you get what you wished for and realize somehow it's still not enough. Let me tell you the story of a man who chased every possible version of more and came back full circle. His name was Taro, a humble stonecutter in a peaceful mountain village. Every day, he carved stones under the sun, shaping them into bricks and tiles. He didn't have much, but he was at peace. He had routine. He had purpose. One day, Taro saw a group of wealthy merchants passing by, dressed in silk, riding horses, laughing loud. Something inside him stirred. He wished he could be like them. And as if the universe was listening, his wish came true. He became a wealthy merchant, clad in fine fabrics, commanding respect. But then, it started again. He envied a prince, whose words moved armies. Taro wished to be that prince, and again the universe said yes. Now he had power. Servants bowed. His name opened doors. Yet peace still eluded him. Until one day, under the scorching sun, he thought, even a prince suffers heat. The sun is the strongest of all. And so, Taro wished to be the sun, and became it. But the clouds blocked his rays. So he wished to become the clouds. And when the wind swept the clouds away, he became the wind. Unstoppable, untouchable, until he slammed into the side of a mountain that did not move. Taro, now tired of chasing power, whispered, I want to be that. And so he became the mountain, silent, immovable, eternal, until one day he felt something chip away at his side. It was a stonecutter. And in that moment, he realized the most powerful being was the one he used to be. What Taro discovered isn't just an old fable. It's the spiritual heart of something Carl Jung spent his life exploring. The power of the self. Not the ego that craves status. Not the persona we show others. But the self, the quiet, immovable center of your being that already is enough. In modern life, we're all taught to chase degrees, promotions, followers, validation. We think fulfillment is a finish line we'll reach after we become someone else. But the deeper truth is, the more you become, the more you lose yourself. The ego constantly wants to be something else, the richer version, the stronger version, the version that finally gets approval. But the self has no need to transform. It just needs to be remembered. You don't have to climb mountains to become whole. You only have to realize you already are the mountain. But here's the tricky part. The world rewards ego. We get applauded for achievements, for reinvention, for ambition. Rarely do we get praise for contentment, for stillness, for inner strength. So what do? We keep chasing. We become clouds and wind and fire, until we lose our ground entirely, until we no longer know who we are underneath all those roles. That's why Taro's journey resonates today, because many of us are exhausted, not from working hard, but from working hard to become something we never needed to be. And maybe the bravest thing you can do in this world isn't to rise higher, but to come back to yourself. But here's the part most people never see coming. The universe doesn't send these impossible relationships to torment you. It sends them to transform you. These, almost, connections, the ones that could have been something beautiful if only the timing had aligned, if only the wounds had healed, if only you were both ready, aren't just cruel jokes. They are divine interventions. Because nothing reveals your deepest patterns like unfulfilled love. You begin to ask questions you've never dared to ask before. Why do I chase people who aren't available? Why do I lose myself trying to make someone stay? Why do I equate intensity with love? And most haunting of all, why do I keep reliving the same story? Different names, same heartbreak. These questions are painful, but they are the doorway to awakening. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." That's what these soul connections do. They force you to confront what's been living in your unconscious. They expose your inner child's unmet needs. They mirror your attachment wounds. They drag your hidden fears into the light. Have you ever noticed how this person seems to know how to hurt you in just the right way? How their silence activates your abandonment wound? How their inconsistency makes you question your worth? That's no accident. They're not just lovers. They're mirrors. And you? You are being asked not to chase them, not to fix them, but to sit with the ache and listen. What part of you still believes you have to earn love? What part of you is still hoping that if you become perfect enough, they'll stay? What part of you still fears being alone more than being broken? The universe isn't punishing you. It's trying to teach you. You don't need them to complete you. You need you. You don't need closure from them. You need to stop abandoning yourself. You don't need a perfect love story. You need to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself about your own worth. And maybe, just maybe, the gift of this impossible love is that it finally made you look inward. In the final phase of Casey's vision, he foresaw not just a passive awakening in animals, but an active collaboration between species. He described a future where animals would no longer serve humans blindly, but participate as conscious co-creators in the evolution of Earth. This is a radical shift from the old belief that animals exist merely for our benefit, meat, labor, or companionship. According to Casey, that illusion is dissolving. Instead, he claimed that we are entering a time when humans and animals will communicate beyond the physical, through vibrational empathy, shared soul missions, and intuitive understanding. Animals, he said, would become mirrors and messengers of divine guidance, offering not only healing, but wisdom. This idea might sound mystical, but many modern pet owners already sense it. Have you ever felt your dog knew when you were anxious before you said a word? Or that your cat stared at something invisible in the room and seemed to receive a message you couldn't hear? According to Casey, these moments are not coincidence. They are glimpses of the interspecies connection returning. He also warned that if humanity continues to disconnect from nature, this awakening may not unfold gently. Just like human spiritual awakenings often come through suffering, through loss, burnout, disease, the Earth's awakening too might come through disruption, environmental collapse, species extinction, pandemics. These events are not punishments, Casey said, but catalysts. And here's the real test. When that moment comes, when the cat who never used to care suddenly starts watching you with new intensity, or when wild animals begin to behave strangely near human populations, will we listen? Will we be humble enough to relearn the language of nature? Or will we dismiss it, once again, as just animal instinct? In the final years of his life, Casey urged people not to seek magic in faraway lands or dimensions, but to open their eyes to the living spiritual wisdom already surrounding them. In trees, in rivers, in cats, in whales, in every bird that lands on your window just when you need a sign. He believed that when animals awaken, they will not become more like us. We will become more like them, present, attuned, whole. So next time your dog pauses and stares into the forest, or your cat curls beside you during your lowest moment, Don't just see a pet. See a soul on a shared mission. A messenger of something ancient waking up again. Something that's been patiently waiting for us to finally remember. Do you feel it too?